Good day, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to another technical summary video presented by me, Letty Janse van Vuren. Our topic for today is the declaration on the compilation for the financial statements. It's a document that was issued by SAICA in February this year. It basically is a declaration that the compiler is a CASA and a member of SAICA. So let's go and have a look at what today's TSB is all about. Why is this important? We always start with why do we need to know about this? Why is this an issue for us? I'm going to do a quick introduction, and then we're going to look at the contents of the publication. We're going to look at the actual paragraphs that are included in there, and then come to a conclusion and a summary at the end of the day. Right, but we are worried about it being a compilation, and definitely only relating at this stage to CAs or members of SAICA, as well as those that have compiled the financial statements. So let's look at the abbreviations that I've used on the slides. We've got SAICA, we've got CASA, which is a Chartered Accountant South Africa, ISRS, which is the International Standard on Related Services, and if you remember correctly, ISRS 4410 is the one specifically on compilation of annual financial statements. IESBA refers to the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants. They're the ones that issue the International Code of Ethics, and they have the IESBA code on which all the other professional bodies base their codes on. So SAICA adopts the IESBA code, and they issue it as the SAICA Code of Professional Conduct. IRBA adopts the IESBA code, and they issue it after making relevant changes to things like the definition of public interest entities and so on, and other South African specific items. They then go and adopt that code and make it their own. Right. So those are some of the abbreviations that I've used. Why is this important? Okay, as we know, if you're a SAICA member, you've got to be aware of all the guides, all the documents that are issued by the professional body. So whatever SAICA issues, they've got lots of guides and things that are always very useful, summaries, which I love. So you've got to know about that, all right? A lot of times when I do consultation, I refer back to those documents because they provide such valuable guidance. But in a nutshell, this is a declaration that can be used only on compilation engagements. It's a letter, it's a declaration, and it specifically states that members of SAICA adhere to a strict code of professional conduct. The relevance to your clients is only if your client is a SAICA member and they do the compilation of financial statements, you might want to include it they might want to include it for their compilation engagements. Right, let's have a look at the introduction. So the declaration stipulates that a CASA is required to comply with the SAICA Code of Professional Conduct. Now, the SAICA CPC, like I told you, is aligned with the IESBA code. The declaration is definitely not there to replace any other technical report that is required by the standards. So the ISRS 4410 compilation report must still be provided. That is the compilation report in terms of the standard, as you see there, ISRS 4410 revised, and you'll still have that one. This declaration is there to only supplement the financial statements of the company. So basically, in a nutshell, this is being used as a marketing tool. It is there to enhance the confidence in the financial statements that have been prepared by a CA, as opposed to being prepared by the company itself or other accounting practitioners. So it's basically there, there's always been, since the old days, there's always been this snobbishness about being a CA. You know that if you've become a CA, you've just gone that extra mile. You've put in the hours, you've done the blood, sweat, and tears to be able to call yourself a CA. And this marketing tool will help to say, listen, the fact that the compilation was actually performed by a CASA means more than just somebody who's not a CASA. All right, it's just the perception it creates, and it's basically there to enhance the confidence for the users on the financial statements. If you look at an overview of the publication, there are 2 pages. There's an Afrikaans one as well, so there's an English one and an Afrikaans one. 2 pages to each declaration. One page is the explanatory notes, and then one page is the actual declaration. Right. It's also available in Afrikaans, where you've got one page with your explanatory notes and one page which is the actual declaration letter. Like I said, it was issued by SAICA in Feb 2023. The use of this document is not compulsory. Okay, you don't have to. It is there rather to promote the CASA brand, as well as instilling confidence in clients, investors, and the users of the financial statements by saying, you know what, the fact that this was prepared by a CA differentiates our financials from those prepared by other practitioners. Because we are worried about the public interest. And SAICA says that if you want to be a member of SAICA and you want to call yourself a CA, you pay your fees and you have to adhere to a very strict professional code of conduct. By doing that, that then sort of sets us apart from other entities that cannot make that declaration. Now, there's nothing that prohibits other professional bodies from issuing similar letters. It is there to basically just promote the brand and to focus on the compiler instead of the actual compilation report. So let's go and summarize some of the most important aspects to this. The heading of the document or the heading of the declaration literally says the Chartered Accountant South Africa Declaration. And the introductory paragraph says as follows. So you'll see my purple paragraphs are the ones where I've used word for word. It says the following annual financial statements of XYZ Pty Limited, whatever the name is, as presented on pages what to what, have been independently compiled by a Chartered Accountant South Africa, CASA. Refer to the compilation report on page whatever. So this doesn't take away the need for the compilation report. Remember, ISRS 4410 says, thou shalt have a compilation report, then you must. This is just a letter that says, okay, the financials were compiled, the compilation was done by a CASA, refer to the compilation report. They also go on to then state that the use of the CA designation is governed by SAICA. And SAICA then, they say, is a premier accountancy body in South Africa and one of the leading institutes worldwide. All right. I think we are behind the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales, and sometimes Australia and New Zealand. I think we're among second or third in the world. So it is a very prestigious brand. They also state that all members must comply with a code of professional conduct issued by SAICA, and that conforms to the code that was released by IESBA. So the SAICA code and the definitions therein are consistent in all material aspects with the IFAC code. Now, the IFAC code is the IESBA code. Remember, IESBA is a sub-body of IFAC, as well as IRBA. The reason why they also refer to the IRBA code is the IRBA code has already been adopted for the South African context within our public interest entity definitions, the changes for listed entity, which is now called a publicly traded entity. So they've gone and they've adopted those same changes. So the way that the code is issued is it goes from IESBA. IFAC releases the IESBA code, the international code, and then it gets adopted first of all in South Africa by IRBA. They review it, they propose that it's adopted, and then it gets adopted. Then SAICA will go and say, well, we will now also adopt the changes that have been recommended or adapted in the IRBA code. So there are certain fundamental principles that have been embodied in the SAICA code, and those are our 5 fundamental principles as it stands in the IESBA code as well. Right. So it's integrity, objectivity, professional competence and due care, confidentiality, and then professional behavior. And then they go on to just briefly explain what each of those mean. This is all still in the declaration. The last 2 paragraphs I find interesting. It says a distinguishing characteristic of CASA are their responsibilities and duties which extend beyond the needs of individual clients, and also includes the public as a whole. Why? Because as accountants worldwide, we are there to protect the public interest, to look after the public interest. So they really want to bring this point home. Accordingly, they say this declaration serves to confirm that these financial statements have been prepared by a CASA who has observed and compiled with the SAICA code. So not just because you're a SAICA member, but because you're a SAICA member and SAICA forces you to subscribe and to comply with the SAICA code. And it is then signed by either a partner or a director, and the designation clearly stated below that as CASA. And that's the declaration. The two source documents that I refer to today is the compilation report declaration. There's your link to that. You'll see it's a docx document. So both of these are in Word documents available to you. You can follow these links and you can then go and edit them and put them on a letterhead and do whatever you want with them. All right. The other one is the Afrikaans one, the link to the Afrikaans one. It says AFR for Afrikaans at the back. And in Afrikaans, die GR-verklaringsverslag. Right, so that's the compilation one. So what you do is you just click on the links, follow the downloads, download them, and you've got them. Right. So in summary, remember that this is a letter. It's a letter that was developed by SAICA. It's not a technical report, but rather a declaration. It's a declaration that SAICA members can issue with the financial statements that they've compiled. Remember, we've said they refer specifically to the pages and it refers specifically to the compilation report on page whatever. So it is used as a marketing tool to set the SAICA members apart from the other compilers. I don't want to call them a cut above, but that's the intention of this, right? SAICA being on the forefront with the guides and the summaries and things. I mean, it's really, they really are working for their members. All right. So that is it in summary. So please remember that you can use this. There's nothing that stops you from not using it. So make sure that you include this on your compilations. Right. If you feel that you still need more information, there's my Knowledge is Power slide. Remember that we've got the monthly newsletter that is issued to all our clients. We've got the technical alerts that are published daily. Please go and follow SA Accounting Academy on LinkedIn. Don't follow me. I provide them with the content of the technical alerts on a daily basis. I don't post them. So please don't follow me. Follow SA Accounting Academy. Right. Then we have webinars on demand. Though these would be our live events that are available as recordings. And also sometimes when there's not a live event, but we want to make a recording of it, sometimes I just have so much to say that I don't need to have a formal 2-hour webinar, but I want to have a 1 hour or whatever. Those are the webinars on demand that you can go and find. And you'll see that if you refer to the SAAA website, you can go and search by presenter, by whatever. So if you want to go and search, let's say for all the webinars that I've presented, you'll put in their presenter and all of the ones that are linked to my name will pop up. Okay. And you can then go according to that. Or you can go and say, which category do you want? We've also got our live webinars, and I'm sure you are receiving all the emails in that regard. And then lastly, we've got the MCLU subscription, which is our monthly compliance and legislation update. This is my baby, near and dear to my heart, and the only reason why I'm able to stay up to date on every month, on a monthly basis with all the changes. Right. So there are different subscription options. If you're not a member there yet, please go and check out this very valuable add-on. Right. But that, ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell, is it from me. I trust that you enjoyed the short technical summary video on the new CASA declaration on the compilation of financial statements. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.